What's going on, everybody? This is Coach D. Welcome to Real Talk Tuesday, where we keep it real, no sugarcoating, no fluff. We're going to keep it like a TI is. We're going to tell you like TI is. Listen to me, man. Tonight, I want to talk to you about, well, let me ask this question, and then I'll break down what I want to talk to you about. Are you playing checkers or are you playing chess? Are you playing checkers or are you playing chess? Tonight, we're talking about strategy. We're talking about strategy, man. So for all those who are thinking, man, you know what? I got big goals, Coach D. I know what I want to do. I know where I want to go. Man, I know that I want to put my family on the map. Da 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 da. Listen, that's cool. I ain't mad at you because that's what you need. Like you got to have that crystal clear vision, right? And then some of us like, man, Coach D, like I'm on my grind, man. I'm constantly at it, man. I'm doing it. I'm like, that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But my question to you again is, are you playing checkers or are you playing chess? Now, some of y'all don't know it, but some of y'all may know me being here in Texas, man, born and raised Texas. I grew up, man, on the Dallas Cowboys. I ain't gonna sit up and hold you, man. Like that was my team. You know, seeing them do what they did in the '90s, like that was like, boy, like proud Cowboys fan, right? And along the years, man, we had one decade, and it's like, all right, well, we in a slump. Another decade went by. It's like, okay, hold on, like, is it a slump or we really tripping? And now we in a whole nother decade. It's like 30 years later. You know what I'm saying? It's 30 years later since we done won a Super Bowl. I'm like, man, like, hold on, bro. And then we get the news, man. We get the news about Micah Parsons. I'm like, what happened? Micah Parsons? Where did he go? Yeah, not with the Cowboys. Not with the Cowboys. And I ain't gonna lie, like for me, I felt a certain kind of way because I'm like, hold on, like what's your strategy, Jerry Jones? You know what I'm saying? Like what's your strategy? Because this right here, it ain't looking too good. But then I got to thinking, man, I'm like, hold on. Jerry, he claims that he's been, that wasn't a decision they had came up with here recently. Like they had been looking at making this decision and weighing these options for quite some time, and they finally pulled the trigger. I'm like, bruh, like I understand what you probably might be trying to do in terms like a blockbuster trade, where same thing they did back in the 80s with with Herschel Walker, man, the late 80s, or was it late 80s, early 90s with Herschel Walker. I'm like, okay, I hear what you're saying. I think I see where you're going. But truth of the matter, bruh, this ain't that. Like you got an opportunity right now, a generational player, man, that can change the game, that has been changing the game. And what'd you do? You let go of my man. And so I felt a certain kind of way, man. I still feel a little salty. I ain't gonna lie to you, being a Cowboys fan. I'm really thinking about, looking at some other team as my team, or just being just the NFL fan in general. Like I don't know. Y'all tell me, what team should I be rooting for right now? Like for real. Like I'm curious to know what y'all talking about, man. What team should I be rooting for? But let me do this, man. I want to jump right into this, man, because again, some of us we got goals, some of us we got the grind, but we're missing a really critical part. And I asked you earlier, you playing checkers or are you playing chess? Because what you really need is a game plan. We talking strategy tonight, man. Listen to me. We talking strategy. And so as we get into it, I wanna just take you back for a moment, because some of y'all heard my story. You heard me talk about my pops. You heard me talk about how I lost them and all that kind of stuff. But what you didn't probably hear was the way I felt about that ordeal, like the way my daddy had handled the situation. When I explain the story, a lot of times what I do, I tell people, I say, man, like that was Superman. To me, he felt like Superman. What do I mean by that? Like he was my protector, my provider. He started to become my best friend. Like my pops was like the one that was constant. As much as I am a mama's boy, even to this day, I'm still a mama's boy. It's like my daddy, man, like he was showing up for me, right? My mama was dealing with her own issues back then. But the whole point is, I felt like that was, man, I needed him. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a dude that was rescuing me from stuff. You know what I mean? And so when I lost him, I felt a certain kind of way. But when I started to really reflect on the moves that my pops was making, I'm like, man, I felt like my daddy, he wasn't playing chess, man. My daddy was playing checkers. Like my daddy was reacting to stuff. And there are certain vices that my daddy had grabbed hold of. And I'm just gonna keep it real, man. One of them was a sexual addiction. You know what I'm saying? It was pornography, right? That's what it was. But I would see my dad like pick up these other vices, like he would lose his temper and stuff like that. I'm like, Pops, like, come on, man, did you really have to slap old girl and make her bleed while you drive and she in the front passenger seat? Did you really have to do that? Did you really have to pin her down next to the Christmas tree? You know what I'm saying? One Christmas season. Like, I'm trying to process some of this. I'm like, my daddy was playing checkers. Y'all listen to me, young king. Because some of y'all playing checkers, you're reacting to the situation. But what I found out is this, that a lot of us, man, we got bad habits. And although our goals may be amazing, our dreams may be like, man, like that's what's up, bro. Our grind may be like, bro, like I ain't seen nobody work any harder than you. We got a strong work ethic, but we're missing strategy. We're playing checkers and we're thinking, okay, as long as I keep grinding like I'm doing, as long as I keep keeping this goal in front of me, I'm good. But no, you got to have a critical component, which is the game plan. It's the strategy, man. And for my pops, I realized that he didn't have strategy. He didn't have strategy because strategy would have told him, hey, you got some bad habits right now that you need to conquer. Because if you don't conquer those bad habits, guess what? They're going to end up conquering you. And so for a moment, I started to think, I said, man, Pops, like, I really wish you would have made a decision to put together a game plan. Like he was trying to get up out of that domestic violence situation. He was. Like he was trying to move us to a whole nother state, out of Texas to a whole nother state, you know, to be closer to our sisters. But truth of the matter, he didn't do it. Like he didn't follow through with that. And so I just really want to slow down, man, for a moment. Young King, and I want to talk to you about strategy today. If I go back to the 90s again, one of the teams I like watching besides Cowboys was Chicago Bulls. And I remember, man, watching the Chicago Bulls, and I'm like, bruh, like they killing it, right? Had 2 3-peat championships. I'm like, man, that's what's up, bro. That's what's up, man. And I'm watching. But then when I started to take a little step back, I started to pay attention. What's the common denominator? Okay, yeah, we got Michael Jordan. Okay, cool. Yeah, we got Scottie Pippen. All right, cool. That was for the first 3 championships. The next 3, who do we got? Oh, we got Michael Jordan. Okay. We got Scottie Pippen. Cool. We got Dennis Rodman. Bet. We killing it. I said, but no, there's more to it than that. And I started looking a little bit closer. Hold on. Phil Jackson running the show. I said, yeah, that's the common denominator, man. Phil Jackson. That right there, that's the wild card, if you will. As much talent as they had, they needed strategy, and that strategy came from the coach. And what Phil Jackson did, I'm about to pull up the whiteboard today, y'all. I'm about to pull up the whiteboard because I think this is super, super important. But what Phil Jackson did, he laid out this strategy. He said, all right, this is what we about to do. And that was everything. And you know it's everything because even when Phil Jackson had left the Bulls and he went over to Los Angeles Lakers, he brought that same strategy over. And now it's Kobe and it's Shaq. And then you got Kobe and you got Paul Gasol, right? But he's still using the same strategy and they end up getting 5 championships. So what was the strategy? I'm glad you asked. Check it out, man. I really want you to see this real quick. All right, I want you to see this. And I want you to help me out in terms of getting the camera getting the camera situated. All right, so here it is. Here it is, strategy. All right, y'all with me? Stay with me, stay with me. All right, stay with me, y'all. I'm gonna flip my camera real quick. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let me flip my camera real quick because I don't want this thing to keep going off, and it's starting to irritate me a little bit. All right. So here we go. Can y'all see that real quick? Yeah, we can see that. Go ahead and get that light up for me. Bring it up. All right, so I want you to see this, man. So here it is. Phil Jackson, man, he had the triangle offense, all right? He had the triangle offense. And what Phil was saying, he's saying, man, listen, at any given time, no matter where your position is, at any given time, you should be able to pass the rock, to that post. If you're over here, in the corner, or that post should be able to pass the rock to the wing, and the wing should be able to pass the rock back over here and back over there. Like there's always going to be a triangle, right? A triangle. Why am I saying that? Because the same strategy that Phil Jackson had is one that we got to have. What I mean by that, we got to have a triangle. All right, listen where I'm going, y'all. For some of us, we saying, man, I want to make it to the league, Coach D. Bet. All right, cool. So that's your goal. I got you on that. And you like, man, I know what I'm gonna do in terms of my grind, man. I'm gonna show up to practice every single day. I'm gonna do the workouts. I'm gonna do 2-3 workouts a day. Man, I'm gonna be on my grind, Coach D. Cool. And you thinking you got a game plan. And right, you got a part of the game plan, which is show up to practice, which is to do extra workouts. That's part of it. But that's not all of it. I told you with my daddy, man, listen, what my daddy fell short is he kept holding on to these bad habits. So you can't sit up here and try to reach these lofty goals of making it to the league or whatever the thing is if you still hold on to bad habits. Your good habit is, man, I grind. Your bad habit is, man, I don't like people telling me what to do though. I don't like it when coach be trying to correct me, especially when you try to do it in front of everybody. I don't like that. Man, I don't really like just trying to have a strict diet. I'd rather eat whatever I want to eat. And for a lot of us, what happens is we have these bad habits that we're carrying, that we're holding on to, and it's keeping us from reaching the goal that we really say we want to hit. And so today I want to break down this right here in my book right here, this book right here. Today I win. When tests go beyond the classroom, I break down 7 principles. Right, 7 principles that helped me to overcome the craziness that I went through as a young man. As far as losing my pops, my mom not being there, and all this kind of stuff. The 7 things I break down, I'm gonna write them down real quick, and I'm about to put them right where they need to go. All right, the first thing is imagination. All right, the first one is imagination. The second one is mantra. So it's what you're telling yourself. Your mantra. The third one is your why. The fourth one is going to be your drive. That's that work ethic, that grind that we're talking about. And then the fifth one is going to be your and1, which is basically your support system, right? That's what I'm saying when I say and1. These are people in your life that really care about you. They're not going to try to keep trying to take. These are people that are actually going to go in there and they're going to try to add value to you. Why? Because they care about you. They're not trying to get nothing from you, young king. They care about you, right? And so that's why they in there trying to make sure you win, because they really do want to see you win. They don't want to see you win. So now they know once you make it, oh, I'm about to get some money off of him. Oh, he about to buy me a house. Oh, he about to buy me a car. They're not on that. They really do want to see you win. Those are your and1s, people that add value to you just because they love you, just because they rock with you. All right, and then the next one is going to be, this is what people they don't like this P word right here, man. But patience. Man, you heard it, the hare, and the tortoise, he said steady. It's slow and steady. Slow and steady that wins the race. And that's the part that I really want you to catch, man. Patience. Some of us, we trying to hurry up and get here, but we're not building the kind of person that we need to build to be able to once we get here, to stay here. That's why you see a lot of people that are really, really talented, man. You see these athletes, they killing it. And they make it to the top. They make it to the league. But just as quick as they made it to the league is as quick as they leave the league. Because they on some dumb stuff. They haven't built the kind of man, the kind of character, kind of leader that they need to become in order to be able to sustain that level of success. And then the last part is your story. All right, that's the last principle, man. You actually sharing your story. Yeah, that's why y'all keep hearing me talk about it over and over again. I keep talking about my story. I know some of y'all like, man, I wish you stopped talking about that. I'm like, bruh, somebody need to hear it. If you don't want to hear it, cool. Don't even tap in when it comes to Real Talk Tuesday. Don't even follow me if you don't want to hear it. But I'm going to keep sharing it because every time I share my story, I truly believe I'm giving somebody else permission to share theirs. And as much as I talk about, as much as people may say my story is powerful, I'm going to flip it and say, man, your story is powerful too. Like somebody needs to hear your story, Young King. Hear what I'm saying, man? Somebody needs to hear it. All right. So with that being said, I hate that my camera's like this, but it is what it is. But I want to now start to put these in the right place. All right. So we're talking about triangle strategy, triangle game plan, if you will. So we're gonna take this imagination. Let's go right over here where our goals are. Your imagination. If you can't see it, man, you're not gonna be able to attain it. If you can't see the goal for all my basketball players, if you can't see the hoop, ain't no way in the world you're gonna be able to make it. Right? So you got to get crystal clear on what it is that you're looking for. And when I say imagination, I use that word instead of saying vision, because imagination, man, like I want you to let that thing run wild. What do you really want it to look like? I'm not just talking about your future. Let me slide over here real quick. Because I think some of y'all are gonna miss it if I don't break this down. Because y'all can stay stuck in sports. If you stay stuck in sports, you really gonna miss it. Because life is bigger than just sports, right? It is. Just keeping it real. At one point in time, you're gonna hang up your cleats. You're gonna put away the basketball shoes. At one point in time, you are, right? So life is more than just sports, is what I'm saying. This is what I want you to focus on. There's 5 areas in life I want you to really lock into. All right. The first one, above all, is faith. All right, faith. I don't know if y'all can see that, man. Look like it's real small on that screen. But faith is the first one. All right. This is what you believe in, right? What your belief system, your spirituality, if you will. Like for me, man, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, man. Like that's where I'm at. And that's where I will continue to be. That's the first area I want you to think about when we talk about setting goals and we doing this whole strategy and game plan. The second area I want you to think about, I like to say your feature. The feature is you. The feature is you. That's like, if you think about your life, the center, the focal point of your life is you. To be honest with you, it is. I don't care what nobody say. You can sit here and say, nah, man, I'm here for my family. I'm here to put my, to make my name great or my family's legacy or whatever. But it's still you. Like you're the center of that. You're the feature. All right, the third thing I want you to think about is family. All right, family. That's the third area. And family can also include like your relationships. So I'm gonna put family/relationships. All right, relationships. This can be even the one you're dating, right? Like these can be dating relationships, it can be teammates, it can be blood, whatever, right? And the fourth area is gonna be finances. There's another area I want you to focus on, Young King, is finance. And then the fifth one is going to be future. And a lot of us, that's where the basketball, the league, going to the league in football, MLB, all these kind of things we be looking at. That's cool. That's the future, though. It could be, I want to retire early. Again, that's the future. Raise that light all the way up, so you can get off the board. It's a distraction. But those are 5 areas that I really want you to focus on. All right, I want you to focus on those 5 areas. So faith, feature, family, finances, future. Now let's come over here to the triangle. All right, let's come to the triangle. All right, so with this in mind, I told you imagination is going to be part of the goals. So anytime anytime you start to set goals, it's super important for you to begin to imagine. Man, all right, like for real, hit the switch. Hit the switch, man. All right, let's go ahead and kill that. All right, so for here, I want you to think about this. The imagination, I'm gonna tilt it down a little bit. Imagination is gonna go where the goals are. All right, that's where the goals are. All right, y'all, forgive me because I'm trying not to get irritated, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm getting a little irritated, but let me stay focused. All right, so with the goals, you got imagination, and you also have your why. All right, your imagination and your why will go under goals. All right, so a lot of us say we wanna make it here, we want to do this or whatever the thing is, but many of us we don't really define why we want to do it or why we need to do it. Right? We don't do that. But when we're setting goals, it's super important for us to do these two: imagination and your why. Now, when it comes down to your grind, I'm gonna skip over real quick because the rest of it's gonna fall on the game plan. When it comes to your grind, this is like the effort that you're putting forth, right? That effort, of course, your drive, that's gonna be part of it, right? But also, it's gonna take patience. You working. You like, man, I still ain't moved up the depth chart. I'm still third string. Man, I want to be a starter. Like, Coach D, you don't understand. Like, I ain't come here to be trying to ride the bench. That ain't me. I get it. But a lot of times it's going to take patience, man. And if you just stay ready, as they say, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And that's the part of the patience part. Patience saying, you know what? I'm not going to just wait. I'm going to be ready while I'm waiting. I'm still studying film. I'm still watching, or I'm still going to extra practices throughout the week. I'm still making sure that I get in front of coach. Say, all right, coach, what else can I be working on? Right? I'm doing those different things, but that's part of the grind. So you got drive and you got patience. Now I want to flip over to the rest of it. All right, so we got drive, we got patience. Now, for your game plan, follow with me, man. Follow with me, young king. You're going to start here. Some of us, we say we want it, and we act like we want it, but truth of the matter, it's hard for us to really wrap our minds around it sometimes because we really don't believe it. And this is where the mantra come in. The mantra is saying, you know what? I'm going to keep saying it. Man, I'm about to be a Hall of Fame, whatever that is. Right? I'm about to be a 5-time Pro Bowler. I'm about to be whatever that thing is. You got to keep saying that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until what? Until you actually believe that thing. Until you start moving like it. Like I remember saying one time, man, when I was in high school, I used to say things like, man, I want a wife and 7 kids. And I'm saying that to like a whole lot of people, man. My brother, my cousins, my friends. I said that to my girl that I ended up marrying. She was like, by who? I said, by you, boo. Right? And she's like, whatever. Right? But she gave me 5. But I would say that thing over and over and over again. But I also said, man, I'm going to be a leader like Dr. King. I'm going to be one of those that, man, impact the world, man. If you go back and you study some of the highlights of Muhammad Ali, listen to how he would talk. And my man would say things that were not even true. It wasn't even a reality in that moment, but in his heart, it was true. He wasn't a champion of the world when he was saying he was a champion of the world, but he kept talking like that. And for so many of us, we saying we want this goal, I want to make it to the league and all that, but man, we won't even talk it. Like we won't even speak it over and over and over again until it becomes something that's real to us. And that's why no matter how much we grind, no matter how big our goals may be, that's why we don't find ourselves reaching those things. And if we do, they're very short-lived because we never became the person that we needed to become. And so part of becoming the person is believing that you are that person that can reach that goal. Believing that you are that person that's gonna put in the work to get to that goal, right? And so yeah, the game plan, first part of the game plan is to make sure you have a mantra. One of my favorite mantras growing up, and I talk to it, or I speak to it in my book, is I'm a winner. And today I win. And and I still continue to say that to myself, man, even to this day, being a grown man, I've taught this, I wrote about it, I coach my athletes up on it. I drilled it into my kids' heads, you know what I'm saying, that we are winners. So that's the first one when it comes to your game plan. The second thing I want you to think about when it comes to game plan, it is your drive, right? It's your drive. That's going to be under the game plan, even though it's over here. So I'm just going to put grind, right? Grind is part of the game plan. What does that include? Your drive, and it includes patience. That's part of the game plan. Like I'm not going to rule it out, man. I'm going to make sure I continue to put in the work day in, day out, even when coach don't give me a pat on the back. Even when I do have those off games, I'm still going to keep putting in the work. Somebody said, man, Coach Z, you said you've been married for how long? I said 24 years, be 25 November. Okay, you said your wife been sick for how long? Man, she's been sick ever since our 18-year-old, who's about to be 19 in a couple of months, ever since she was pregnant with him. So 19 years she's been sick. 19 years. And you still married? I'm still married to the same woman, Patience. Listen, young king, patience. I can't sit up here and say I want a wife and 7 kids, and then I don't have the type of grind that it takes to be a husband to that wife who just gave me 5 kids. You know what I'm saying? I can't be. I got to make sure that I continue to grind. I continue to have that drive, continue to be patient. And then the last thing I want you, well, not last, but second to last thing I want you to think about is this right here. Some of y'all gonna miss it, man, but your N1, this is your support system. Your support system. I'll be honest with you. You got more people that's rocking with you than you give credit to. When you think about your coach, for instance, as hard as he can be on you, if you actually take a step back, and I'm not gonna say all of them are like this, but it's a good chance. Like one of my favorite coaches that I love to be able to watch and to study even is Scott Drew, man. Right for Baylor men's basketball. I love seeing Scott Drew do what he does, man, because he is a player's coach. He's one of those that, man, really does care about his players, man. And those type of coaches, man, those are ones you got to hold on to. Those relationships are ones you got to really cherish and begin to treasure. Even when they get on your tail and they chew you out. Like, be willing to accept whatever comes from them because you know they mean well by it. I'm getting on you because I see that you can get better, right? And so your N1 is going to, again, be the type of people that's saying, you know what? I care about you so much that I'm willing to tell you like it is. Not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear, young king. I'm willing to sit your tail down on this bench until you get your attitude right, because your attitude is impacting the team. But I know that it's not just impacting your team, but it's going to hurt your chances outside of this sport. And so many of us, we miss it. We start getting all in our feelings, but your N1s are people that's going to add value to you, even if it has to come in the form of correction. They're going to add value. Your N1 adds value. Your N1, I'm going to say it again, adds value. So be thinking about those people who continue to add value to you. Make sure that they're part of your game plan. See, I know I already had referenced Phil Jackson, but truth of the matter, the triangle offense, That didn't come from Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson used it, and he's the one that had made it popular, if you will. But that started back way, man, I think it was what, 1940s, I want to say? It was way back when by a guy named Sam Barry. And Sam Barry is a Hall of Fame coach. And this Hall of Fame coach actually, what team did he coach up? I can't remember if it was Kansas State. I can't remember who it was that he had coached, but I know that he was the one that had originated the triangle offense. And then there was a player that was under him. His name is Trex. What's my man's name? Ooh, what's my man's name? I can't remember his name, man. First name Trex Winter. Trex Winter. And Trex Winter was one of his players back in the 1940s. But when Trex went to become a head coach for the NBA, and even in his college, he was coaching college as a head coach as well. He began to develop out that triangle offense. He was the one that was doing that. And that same man, Trex Winter, ended up coming over to the Bulls in the late 80s or in the 80s and the 90s. The coach that was there before Phil Jackson came on, Trex was trying to get him to go ahead and implement this triangle offense. And the coach like, no, bump that. We're not doing that. We're gonna do what I want to do. And he set my man down. He said, no, sit down. Like, I don't want to hear all that. And it wasn't until Phil Jackson had came that he had reintroduced that idea of implementing the triangle offense. And once he did that, the rest is history. The rest is history, man. Like I say, you got 2 3-peats by the Bulls. You got 5 championships by the Lakers because Phil Jackson had went on to perfect the triangle offense. And all I'm saying is this right here is your triangle offense, your goals, your game plan, and your grind. You have to make sure you implement that, young king. Not just, we talked about sports, but I'm saying, listen, when I had lost my pops, I had to implement this. What's the goal? The goal is to make sure that I'm there for Quincy. Like that was me. Like my goal was to make sure that I had got up out that situation and I didn't repeat the same mistakes that my dad had made. That was me. To have my own family, my wife, and to have 7 kids. That was my goal. But then the game plan was, all right, how am I gonna do that? How do I plan on doing this? 1, I'm gonna keep my why before me. I'm gonna make sure I continue to think about Quincy when I make my moves. 2, as I started to date, man, I'm looking for wifey. 3, I'm gonna make sure I go to the military once I get up out of here, right? And those are things I ended up doing, and that grind and that paying off, right? But you can apply this to any situation, man. It can be finance. What's the goal? Okay, what's the game plan to get to that goal? And what kind of grind am I gonna put in? It can be relationships that you have. It can be faith. It can be features, different habits that you want to form. I want you to take this, young king, and I want you to actually do something with it. Listen to me. I want you to do something with it. All right. So with that being said, let me go ahead and I'm gonna put this away. We're gonna wrap this thing up, man. We're gonna wrap this up. So as we think about this move right here. And let me see if I can get back to my camera view. Hold on. See if we good. All right, so. All right, here we go. We back. So now, so with all that being said, man, I really want you to think strategy. No more playing checkers, man. Checkers simply saying I don't have strategy. That's all checkers are saying. Checkers saying, man, when I get in my feelings, I'm gonna let the world know I'm just gonna react. I don't want to react no more. I want you to respond. But when you respond, you're gonna respond based on what your goals are, what your vision is, what you've imagined. And that's what I want. Okay, if that's what you really want, then make sure that your actions and your decisions line up with that, young king. And this is what I found out, man. when it comes down, I want to give you one definition as we get ready to get up out of here. One definition. Your goal is going to be something that you're aiming for. It's a desired result, but your game plan is this. Listen, your game plan is this. It's a carefully thought out strategy or course of action designed to achieve a specific goal. I'm going to read that again. Your game plan is a carefully thought out strategy or course of action designed to achieve a specific goal. Why do I emphasize the definition? Because too many of us, we want to hurry up and get to the spot, and we want to hurry up and get to the goal, but we won't take the time to actually carefully think it out. Like, what does it really take to be an elite level athlete who makes it to the league? What does it really take to have a long, tenured career in the league? What does it really take to build a dynasty in the league? Like, what does that really look like? And again, we're not taking shortcuts, man. We're going to slow it down and we're going to think it through. Thoughtfully, carefully thought out strategy is what it is. That's your game plan. So tonight, that's your homework, man. For the rest of the week, matter of fact, that's your homework. What's your vision? That's cool. Give it to me. I'll take it. What is the goal? But besides that goal, man, I need you to come up with that game plan. And once you come with that game plan, I promise you, as long as you stay true to it and you don't compromise, you hit it hard each and every day, consistently, persistently, you can't help but look up one day and realize, you know what? I did what I said I was going to do. And then some. I told you, man, listen to me, young king. You are a winner, but winning is a choice. So whatever you do, do not quit. This is Coach D. Catch you next week on Real Talk Tuesday.